Saints fans, welcome back to the Saints TV podcast. It wasn't pretty, but it was gritty, as my boy CP would say.
That wasn't pre-planned.
That wasn't, no. But we're rolling with it.
Yeah.
Up the Saints, 2 on the trot. An ugly win, but a win nonetheless. Jake, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to call myself out, boys, straight off the bat. I actually think I was a little bit harsh in the review. I think...
Me too.
The more I think about the game, I forget that it was Gold Coast. I forgot that it was a team stacked with a lot of first-round picks, a very good midfield, a very talented forward line, a pretty solid defence, and we didn't allow them to do anything that they wanted for the entire game. I'll give us that much. That's all I'm giving us for now. We won, though. We won, and we're actually only 2 games out of the 8, mate. What do you reckon, Sammy? Are we back on? We've got the full zip, I can see, all of us, so that must be a sign.
Lid's still on.
Cooking.
It's peeling off slightly. But I mean, for most of that game, I wanted to pour bleach in my eyes. I'm not gonna lie. But pressure was elite. Can't fault the pressure. It's just goal scoring. It's inability to convert. I think that's the thing that's letting us down because we probably should have won that by 4 or 5 goals at the end of the game. I reckon. Half
time it should have been.
Yep.
Even the first quarter. I mean, we came out and we talked about it. I wanted to see us come out the way we finished the game against the Eagles. I have to say we did do that.
Yeah.
That's a tick.
That's a big tick. Yeah, the attitude was there, and that's what we've wanted for so long.
Yeah, I think, man, there's so much to talk about this game. It felt like a lot went on, even though it was as ugly as it was. I think I just loved watching this game because, yeah, it was kind of disgusting for any neutral to watch, and I can respect that.
Half glass full Ari. He's back with a vengeance.
Way too optimistic.
But this is, like, honestly, what I think is I loved watching it because when your team comes out and shows heart and shows effort for 4 quarters, I'll watch that any day. I don't care if the product of the actual football is ugly. Obviously, it's not ideal. But if my team's going to show full 4-quarter effort, I'll watch that any day. So, honestly, I loved this win. Obviously, a lot to talk about, but do you guys agree with that? How are we feeling?
Is it... I wouldn't say I loved it, but is it significant? Did it feel like significant? Like we've shifted a gear a little bit. The defensive sort of focus was back. The toughness. Maybe not the finish.
Ever so slightly.
There was something there, though, to hang your hat on. There was something.
Yeah.
I couldn't say what, but I just haven't seen us suffocate opposition like that. We didn't capitalize on it.
No.
But we really did strangle them.
Yeah, I agree. I just think I've got serious reservations about it because my ideology is that yes, a win's a win. Who cares how you get it? But at the same time, is that brand of football going to stack up against the upper echelon of the competition? I don't think so. And the reason I don't think so is because we don't capitalise on our opportunities, we don't convert, and we have a bad habit of keeping other teams in games. Case in point, Essendon. Shouldn't have won that game.
That's a good point.
Did win that game because we couldn't convert. It's not like we were the worst team. We just couldn't convert. So I think that aspect is really going to come back and bite us in the arse at some point.
Yeah.
But
no,
that's just my perspective.
I agree. I think like if we played that same game against Sydney, we're getting smashed. Because they'd probably be able to break through our defense a little easier, and with a team like that, you just have to take your chances. In saying that, though, while there's a lot to talk about and a lot to improve on the offensive side of the game, it really feels like our defensive profile is back. You wouldn't hear about it in the media for whatever reason, but I thought holding a team to 7 goals under the roof is pretty significant. If we, like you guys say, if we had taken our chances, we would have won by a lot more. We probably should have. I think Ross said in his presser, but. Yeah, he would have been shattered if we lost this game because we really deserved the win.
Absolutely. We were the better team.
Yeah, and I think our defense just held up so well and better than other weeks because it wasn't under siege the way it has been. We actually dominated the forward half of the game, like our forward half. It was in there the whole time.
Yeah, we had more
our entries were just terrible.
More inside 50s, more clearances, way more contested ball, which is really good to see.
Yeah.
Like Hunter Clark and Paddy Dow
Huge.
really worked well again. Yeah. And Josh Battle was phenomenal, especially you lose Dougal Howard.
Yeah.
Which is pretty significant given the height they had. I thought we handled it pretty well in the end.
Definitely.
And Dan Butler found form. The Smalls found a little bit of rhythm.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. No, I just think like there's a lot to like defensively. So on one side, I think we almost nailed it. Like you could say that's a perfect defensive game from us.
Yeah.
Offensively though, there is so much to improve on. The forward entries are just not it. They're not right. You would be seriously hard pressed. I said this last week, but to be a forward inside St Kilda's forward line, I'd love to see Charlie Kerno in our forward line, see if he can actually kick any goals, because I doubt he could, to be honest. They never get it put out to them. The entries are ugly. They're messy. They're shallow.
But as people don't back themselves in as well, there was a horrible, horrible moment of play where Jack Steele marked the ball inside 50 and then chipped it backwards to a defender.
Yeah.
And it made no sense.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, we're sort of in the game, but we're not that far ahead.
Yeah.
Take a ping. What's the worst that can happen?
Was there one later when Henry could have gone for a ping?
Yeah, there were quite a few.
That could have been the sealer.
Yeah.
But he elected to go for the sort of 45. Too unselfish. It's unselfish, but it's also not backing yourself.
I think it's a confidence thing.
Yeah.
Players don't back themselves in, and that much is pretty obvious.
Yeah.
That's why it keeps getting handballed around in the 450 when we make hard work of something that should be very, very simple.
Yeah. Yeah, it's seriously astounding to see us hit so many consecutive targets down the ground, and then the one that matters inside 50, for whatever reason, we just can't bite it off.
Yeah.
Like the target it won't even go near them. They won't get a finger to it.
It's so crowded in there, though. Like, I see a lot of other teams, and it's so open. And it's a mix of, like, you know, the forwards know how to space each other apart. But it's also the quick ball movement. Because we move it quick to a point, but like you said, then we slow it down like 60 out. But then the rest of our mids just keep moving into the 50. It's like, and then it's only Wilkie, Battle, and that a few players back that are kicking it in. We've got like, it's like 30 players in the forward 50.
Yeah.
Where
Speeds to a honeypot.
Where are you going to find a pass at that point?
Yeah. And that's a combination of poor strategy and poor match awareness at the end of the day.
Yeah. It definitely feels like, you say it all the time, like it's both sides. The forwards probably aren't creating enough space. They need to move more.
Yeah.
And then the delivery is just poor.
Yeah.
In saying that though, it's been talked about a lot. Damien Hardwick, Kane Corn's been banging on about how this was the worst game of football to watch of the century, which, you know, there's a point to be had there. Is that our fault though? I would argue no. A few stats. 83 marks to us, 137 to them. 19 backwards kicks to them, 6 to us. And Damien Hardwick admitted in his press conference that they changed the way they played to counter our defensive strategy. So, yes, it was a slog, but I don't think that's on us. Kane Corns is trying to come out and say that this brand is not going to hold up for us. Offensively, yeah, we've admitted that, but defensively, I think that is going to hold up. How do we feel about that?
I think we've proved for the last year and a half that defensively we stack up against anyone. We've played the top teams, we've played really attacking teams, and we've kept them to low scores. We've either beaten them or been close enough to beating them. I don't think we've ever had a problem with the way we defend. It's always been, you know, when a team kicks 3 or 4 in a row, do we really back ourselves to then bounce back and kick our 3 or 4 in a row and stabilise the game? Because really, at the end of the day, like, if Gold Coast kicked 2 goals late in that game, it's only 2 goals, but for us, that's the equivalent of 4 or 5 goals.
Yeah, it's a mountain
and the game's
to climb.
done.
Yeah.
Because we're only kicking on average 8 to 10 a game.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, all in all, this game in a nutshell is a lot to like, but a lot to improve on.
It didn't show anything that I didn't already know.
Yeah.
I knew that our defense was really good. I know that we're really disciplined. We're a high pressure team. We're a very structure based team. But I want to see more flair. I want to see more intuition by the players. I want to see a player that just knows, okay, maybe the coaches want me to go there, but I'm going to go there.
Did you know our defense was that good? Did you think we would keep Gold Coast to 7 goals?
I didn't think we would keep him to that much of a score.
Yeah.
I would think 10 goals.
Yeah.
Like 60 to 70 something, but to keep them to what they did. And it's not like they had a lot of shots that they missed many. I can't really think of that many directly in front where they shanked them.
No, they didn't get many inside 50s at all.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So the pressure was that good that we just held it in the middle of the ground. I mean, big tick for us on that front.
For sure. And a big talking point of the game was Marcus Winhager. Ross said in his press conference that clearly the tag is in.
Yeah, he kept Holman to what, like 2 possessions?
Yeah, Nick Holman had a quiet game, didn't he? No, we did talk about last week, though. We thought Matt Rao was the one to go to, but they thought, let's cut the head off the snake, go for the skipper, go for the experience instead of the youth, which I kind of like. I thought that was a good move in the end. So that was a good play from Ross. And Winhager, he had a great game again. Although Took almost ripped all our hearts out at the end there, Ross admitted that they took the tag away late to try and get some more score on the scoreboard for us. But Sammy, what do you think of Windhager's?
I think it was great.
Yeah.
The tag is important. The tag is very important, particularly if you have game changers like Rao, Took Miller, those sort of players. But it is one of these things where you do need a few bows to add to your string. So, and I think Windhager's got that. Like, he's got skill, he's got talent. There's a few turnovers here and there, but for the most part, he is a very, very solid player. But his shutdown work over the last couple of weeks has been sublime. Yeah,
it's almost the perfect prep for the huge job that he'll get on Friday.
Lockie Neal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have to be Lockie Neal.
Has to be, yeah.
So he couldn't be in better shape to take on one of the best mids in the comp.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great call. I'm ready to see that matchup. And I just love the way he was just wrestling with him all day.
Yeah.
Wouldn't let him have a sniff, and just like physically he was very imposing, but I think that mentally took a toll on Took as well. You could see his body language was down during the game. Speaking of skippers, I thought our skipper had a huge game. I thought his effort was there all day. You were sort of talking about it last week in that first quarter. We needed him. He wasn't there.
Yeah.
I thought for all 4 quarters he was there. He had 20 touches, 8 tackles, and 6 clearances. What do you guys make of Steele's game?
Worked himself into the game. I don't think he was there for the whole time. He was MIA for maybe the second quarter. But
you reckon?
Yeah, didn't notice him. Barely noticed him for most of the game.
I noticed
but I'd say second half he turned up for sure.
Yeah. No, he was good. He was good without being great. I wouldn't say he played a captain's game. I thought he played a good midfielder's game. I thought Hunter Clark, I probably noticed more.
Yeah.
Who had way less possessions.
For sure. And he actually he had 17 touches, and he had, 62% of game time, Hunter Clark.
Really?
Yeah. Well, and that's been a common trend with him. Why do we think that is? Because he seems to have an obvious effect on the game.
We've always said, at least from what I've heard from the coaches or what people think the coaches think, is maybe his tank's not up to standard.
There's an argument to be made there for sure.
And Paddy Dow's rotating through there. Machito was rotating through there. Windy obviously spent a lot of time in there for the tag. So you wouldn't rest him anyway, would you? He's either on or he's off. Like you wouldn't rest him at half forward, would you?
No, I'd just keep him in the guts.
But he's so clever with the ball.
Yeah.
And he's impactful. And that's why we notice him more than perhaps other midfielders, because every disposal has impact.
Well, actually, I didn't even mention it. The spin and then the left foot dart into the 50. How beautiful was that? That's A-grade stuff.
Exactly. All his possessions, they come off of a great play where he's fended someone off, he's broken a tackle, and then he hits a target.
Yeah,
exactly.
He composes himself.
Even if it's sort of a wobbly kick, it's like an important clearance or something that has weight to it.
Yeah.
Loved his game. Also, Nasaya as well. I mean, we've just come to expect this from him every week, but I thought some of the kicks he was pulling off. I know he had a few turnovers, but he had a few crucial kicks, which I'm pretty sure his first kick of the day was he sold some candy and then hits Higgins up 15 metres, and then we get the first goal of the game. What do we think of Naz?
I think it was a shaky sort of middle. It's like the team though, isn't it? I feel like there's a lot of these players that mimicked the form of the team, and they weren't terrible, but they weren't great, I feel like we're slowly getting back to that sort of consistent effort where we're going to see a few mistakes like the team as a whole, but I think for the most part, the intention's there, the plan is there, they know what they need to do. And if they execute it 7 times out of 10, then we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
I thought, and that's pretty much how I would rate his game, probably 7 out of 10 if I had to rate it.
Yeah.
Higher up the ground, I don't think I saw him as high this week as I did last week.
I don't think so, yeah.
But I'm not sure if that was just because of more of the defensive focus that we had set.
Yeah, for sure. And something that I called for last week, which was Bonner to be dropped and Sinclair to be moved to half back, but Sinclair was moved back anyway, which I thought was crucial for us. He had 31 touches, and I just thought was impactful. We needed that flare off half back again. Obviously, we have it with Nasaya, but I think it's been lacking with Bonner as of late.
Yeah.
What do we think of the move back to half back, Sammy?
I think he's great.
Yeah.
A lot of intercepts as well.
Yeah.
A lot of intercepts,
he put his body
which
on
is
the
good
line
to see.
a few times, didn't he?
Yeah. But he's one of our better ball users, so having him back there is beneficial, absolutely beneficial, and him and Naz work so well together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think Bonner had a necessarily bad game. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'll just read a few stats. 12 touches, 2 frees against, 4 clangers at 75%. What do you think? And I thought, just to the naked eye, to me, he was terrible.
He was terrible?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have to go back and watch the highlights.
I watched the replay today, and I just think there's a few times where he needs to put his body on the line. He needs to just pull off a simple 20-meter dart, and it's lacking. There was one play where there's a lot of moments with him where you're like, yes, 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 no. He'll, he took a player on, gets into some space, kicks it down the line, kicks it to a 2-on-1.
There was one, didn't he hit King on a lead beautifully at one point?
There was one or two good moments for sure,
because it was higher off the ground.
He had some magnificent kicks.
Yeah.
And then he had kicks where you're just like, what are you doing? There was one where he sprinted down the wing. Some of the best player of the game kicks it to a goal post player who does not have a
that's what I was just talking about, the 2-on-1
anywhere near him. It's horrible.
That mimicked Darcy.
Horrible.
That was Darcy Wilson in the last quarter.
Yeah.
But I reckon it's just his ball skills that let us down. Like, if he can hone down his kicking ability and work on that, I think he has the potential to be a very good player. Because I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's inconsistent. I think he lacks confidence.
Like I agree. I don't think he's a bad player. Yeah, I just think he's down on his form, and there's no reason that he should be a lock in our team, which for whatever reason it seems like he is. And I think with Sinclair going back to half back, we just don't need him there anymore. I don't see use for him. And if we really want someone to fill in that role, bring in Shoalmaker.
Yeah, you think this week?
I don't think this week, but I think if Bonner is to go out and Ross wants a replacement,
I'd bring Ben Patton in, to be honest.
Patton as well is a good option.
Over Bonner.
I'd
just
take Patton
because
over
he's more of a, he won't bite off more than he can chew, and he can just pick a small because Brisbane have a lot of them. This might be crazy, but I feel like he could do the job.
No, I agree because he's going to contest as well. But did you see the amount of times in a one-on-one Bonner just wasn't competing? There was a few times. The Bond. If only we had him. But I saw a few one-on-ones where I just felt like Bonner was not competing, whereas Patton, I can't see him getting beat in some of those contests.
Nah, he won't get beat. He won't do much when he gets it, but he won't lose.
Is Bonner doing a lot when he gets it, though?
I mean, yeah. But his ceiling is higher.
Yeah. I think Bonner's a far, far better player. Like, whenever we play with Patton, the opposition might as well have 19 players on the field. That's the way I feel about him.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's
been pretty solid.
I feel like that's only if we expect him to get a lot of possessions. But if you use him as almost like a back pocket tagger, which against Brisbane, who have that many good smalls, might not be out of the question.
If he doesn't touch the ball and he tackles all game,
if he doesn't touch the ball and Charlie Cameron kicks too, I'll take that.
Yeah,
he's pretty much a younger Jimmy Webster in my eyes.
Oh. Nah, Jimmy, when he even in his debut, his left foot was beautiful.
You reckon Jimmy has a clean disposal?
Patton doesn't know.
Because I just don't feel that way.
Nah,
I love Jimmy Webster. I just don't think that his disposal is his strength.
Yeah. No, I've always thought that Jimmy's left foot wasn't that bad.
That's fair. I'm not even trying to go at you. I'm genuinely curious what you think. But
I wouldn't know what his average. I mean, as a team, we go at 72% before this game.
Yeah.
Sydney go at 74%. So I think we're obsessing. There's not a great difference between us and Sydney in terms of disposal efficiency.
Yeah.
It's so much more than just how well we're using the footy.
Yeah. I'd love to know turnovers and that sort of thing. It feels like we turn the ball over.
It'd be score from turnover. So it's less
exactly
how many we give away, but when we get them, what the hell do we do with them?
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure with that statistic, if you kick to a pack, that's considered an efficient disposal.
But it's not really.
I know, but I'm pretty sure it's
But what if they
considered to
rove
be.
it from that pack? Then it's a turnover.
But I don't think that counts.
Yeah, okay.
If it's a pack.
Yeah.
So that stat can be kind of skewed.
So when we
a lot
say
of the other
someone went at
stats-
90% efficiency, it doesn't mean they hit the player.
Yeah, it's
every
like
single
meters
time.
gained.
Yeah.
Such an irrelevant statistic.
He's
Because
bombed
Bonner has elite meters gained, and more often than not, it's going straight
he's
to a
kicking
key
50.
defender.
He's gaining 50 meters, but he's giving it back to him. No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think as well, our midfield was really strong. You mentioned it already, Jake, but we were plus 10 in clearances against arguably one of the best midfields in the comp, and plus 3 in centre clearances, which I think has been such a weakness of ours. And Ross mentioned that in his press conference that he was very pleased with our stoppage work because it's been a massive weakness all year long. Put in Paddy Dow, put in Hunter Clark, and we're looking pretty good.
I mean, that was another probably key takeout from the game was not defensive, but like how stable we were in the midfield.
Yeah.
Because I think we've got some variety now. We've got some players coming off the bench. It's not just Steele, Seb Ross, and who did we have earlier in the year with him? And maybe Sinks we had in there.
Yeah, Sinks.
Now there's Paddy Dow going through there. We threw Machito in there, and a few of his fins were unreal.
Looked Looked amazing.
Looked amazing in there. Didn't continue with it too long, which was disappointing. But I don't know. We've got a few avenues now where we can get clearance. We can hold the ball up if we want. Play a bit more defensive. There's some variety, I think, to the midfield.
Which is needed.
Which is much needed.
Very one-paced without Dow and Clark.
Yeah.
Very, very one-paced.
Those two have been big for us.
Yeah, Henry was put in there a bit. So I don't mind. Still probably bottom 4 midfield in the comp, but...
Baby steps.
But baby steps, yeah. I think it's a start.
I really loved Mitch in there. I think there was 2 or 3 passages especially stood out to me on the replay where, he's fending off, he's breaking a tackle, he's laying a tackle.
Yeah.
I still, even though we're getting him in there, I still wish we saw more of it. You know, I don't think he's a forward for us. I think he's just a midfielder. He can definitely roam forward. He's good for a goal, but I just think he's a midfielder for us. Do you agree, Sammy?
But do you reckon it's because he's 19 and he doesn't quite have a tank yet?
Potentially. I hope that's the reason.
That's probably the reasoning behind it.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so because I don't see why else. But it's one of those things. I know Phillip is out of the team now, but earlier in the year, Phillip was getting those minutes ahead of Mitch.
If they're giving Hunter Clark 64% game time, just give him, I don't know, just have him and Hunter Clark kind of split.
Yeah.
Some of the workload in the middle. Wouldn't mind
definitely.
that.
There was something that did happen in the game that we haven't talked about yet. That has been quite the talking point. The free kick the last 4 minutes ago. First of all, I want to clear something up. Everyone in the media is saying that the ball was 100 meters down the field, which is just wrong.
Look down the camera and say it, mate.
You're wrong. It was not 100 meters down the field. It was 35 meters. The ball was in the air when the whistle got blown, and Henry was about to take an uncontested mark on the 50. So to just say that was ridiculous. Was the free kick there? It was there. Was it soft? Definitely. But my argument is, and maybe this is just a nuffy talking here, but it's the way I saw it. King was owed about 5 of those. I was sitting next to the goals, and the umpire says arms around when he paid the free kick, which they were. Well, we agree they were soft, but I think arms were around King all day. Sometimes the reason he didn't get to the ball is because the arms were around him, and he couldn't even get to it because he's getting held.
Well, what was softer, King's one or Dan Butler's first goal? What was softer, really?
Has to be Butler's.
Yeah, has to be Butler's.
So it's really just the timing of King's free kick that makes it so significant. If that was in the first quarter, no one would give a shit. That's my point.
No, I mean, it's one of these things. I do think it leveled out because he was being held for most of the game.
Ainsworth got one directly in front, and that was pretty soft.
Do I think it was a terrible call? Yeah, it was a terrible call.
Yeah.
But what can you do?
Yeah.
You know, footy giveth and she taketh away.
Yeah. It's
the nature of the beast.
We're due a close one anyway.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Exactly. If it was against us, I'd be filthy, but like kind of what you were saying last week, Sammy, is what I would agree with this week, is that it was just terrible both ways. The amount, also, not 15 play on. How many times did you hear that when it was about a 20-meter kick and then there was a 3-meter kick and it was called a mark? Very inconsistent rule. But yeah, and also Brad Hill actually got tested for concussion because he got hit in the head 20 meters out from goal, didn't get paid a free kick. So you can pull hairs about free kicks and umpiring all game long.
But the other thing is we're in that position because of our own doing.
Yeah, if we're 10 goals up,
so
it doesn't matter.
It's one of those things you have to look at as well. Like, yes, Dimmer's complaining and all of this, and yes, we might be saying, oh, well, we only won because of that free kick. We should have never been there to begin with. We should have been 3-4 goals up. It shouldn't have been a problem at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, that's true. Something as well, I'm not ragging on Mason Wood, but he had a crucial turnover, which luckily ended up in a miss.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And I guess a glass half full approach to that was, I loved how mad at himself he was. Just because I feel like sometimes we see players in the team, not naming anyone, but certain players off half-back, turn the ball over constantly, and it seems like they don't even care.
Yeah. Whereas, is that what you're saying?
Potentially, yeah. But mate, he turned it over. He was pissed off at himself, so much so that, he's hitting the ground, all that. Gold Coast player went on to miss the goal, but it was just sort of thing. I just loved the way the team went about it all night. I thought we showed a lot of passion.
Yeah.
Do you guys agree with that? Or
of course.
How we
I mean,
like
we can't, 2-3 weeks ago, I think I said on the channel, like, I don't care if we win or lose. I just want to see some sort of bloody application. I want to see us go out there and throw some bodies around and see what the hell happens. Show that you care. Show that you're playing for the jumper and the fans. And they did that for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
They've done that for the last 5 consecutive quarters.
Yeah.
So
keep it rolling into the
Gabba. You can't be too picky. Yeah. Because the same people that are complaining are the same people that say, but we don't have a good list. We should be bottom 4. And then they're the same people that complain when we beat a team that's in the 8.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Is that you? Are you one of them?
No.
You were looking at us then like, that's
shit, they got me. They got me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think another huge talking point is Callum Wilkie and Josh Battle.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys have just been doing it week in, week out. They've probably, they just have been our most consistent performers all year. And Josh Battle went off the ground once for 2 minutes because Dougal Howard's unfortunately done another hammy. But yeah, what do we think of those guys? And it's going to be a talking point every week until we get the signature. But Josh Battle, I don't care how much it is at this point. Throw a lot of money at him because he deserves it. And him and Wilkie, those two just work so well together. I love our defense with those two in them.
I mean, Josh Battle's been doing it all year. I mean, if he keeps this up, he's definitely getting in the All-Australian squad. I don't know about the team, but he'd be getting in the squad. I'd be shocked if he didn't.
Yeah.
He's just phenomenal. He's got the most steady hands in the back line. I trust him every time the ball's coming in, and I can see there's a giant pack, but I see him kind of on the side of it, not contesting with anyone, and he's timing his jump. I go, he's either going to punch the shit out of this or he's going to mark it.
Yeah.
And he does that every time. And he's kicking. You rarely see him make a mistake. He's calm under pressure. You just trust him. And it's good to have a player like him. You know what you're going to get every week, and he just cleans up the scraps.
Yeah. He also puts himself in a hole.
Puts himself in a hole. He's a big boy. He knows he can take the hits.
Yeah. Absolutely. Also, how about Hammer's touch on the goal line? I mean, I know everyone's talking about why did Gold Coast not put a block on, but geez, he's jumped up and got a fingertip to him at the exact right moment.
Yeah.
Where I was sitting from, I sat back down because I thought, oh no, that's gone through. But he's touched it at the right moment, and everyone's talking about, oh well, how has Gold Coast not put a block on? How has Cameron just gone up and done that and no one's talking about it? I thought that was a great effort from him.
Post a photo during the
He's
week.
also on the goal line as well. He's a forward for us. I don't know if he was roaming ruck at the time, but I thought that was a bloody good effort from Hammer.
Yeah, he hasn't been rewarded probably as much in front of goal as last year, but he's still doing all those little things that we love.
Yeah, definitely. And someone that I would love to see lift, because I want to see him win the Rising Star this year. Probably had one of his lesser games was Darcy Wilson.
Yeah.
It wasn't terrible, but he just struggled to get into the game at times. Had a few turnovers. There's a few moments where he looked really good. He was running on the wing, but yeah, we want him to lift so he can win that Rising Star.
Yeah. Unless more players just get suspended.
Who's the favourite right now?
That'd be
Colby McKercher.
Yeah, Wardlaw. Yeah, those two have
McKercher's
suspensions
injured, so
coming
it'll
up
be
shortly.
Wardlaw.
Wardlaw, yeah.
One of them. 18,000 as well, only to the game. I thought the crowd was vocal and strong, but I just wish we had more there.
Yeah, I mean, I was anticipating around 15, so it exceeded my expectations, to be honest. Yeah. I don't know if we were super vocal. I thought we were vocal, particularly in the last quarter.
Yeah.
Mainly when we were trying to win the game in the last 3 minutes, knowing there was 3 minutes left and we were winning.
Maybe vocal's the wrong word. I just felt like the energy was good in the building all night. I don't know.
It was very pent up just because I think we all felt like, damn, we're actually on top here, but we're not.
Yeah.
We're not winning. We're not winning as much as we should, and it was frustration. And the final siren goes, and you feel amazing.
Yeah.
Because you're like, that's over. We've won. We
Thank
got what we
God.
deserve. We got what we deserve.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Also, shout out to Wilkie for taking the reins back on singing the song after Higgins botched it last
in the
week.
rooms when they all walked in. I can't remember who said it, but they're like, Higo, you got this one.
Yeah.
It's like, nah.
But also, quick thing about the crowds.
Yep.
People saying that they hate it when we play at Marvel, want to play at the G-More. Turn up.
Exactly.
Turn up. Yeah. If we don't get crowds, we will not be going to the G-More next year. That's almost guaranteed because 19,000 Saturday night is insipid. No. We have 60,000 members.
Yeah.
That's a horrible turnout. So that's just my perspective.
And I
completely agree.
Yeah, and I firmly believe that we are not, as a club, going to turn around.
Yep.
And the fans have to make the move first. We got to start rocking up. Even if our form's off, we need to be making noise. We need to be showing that we're relevant.
Yep.
I know the Carlton, they want to get more games or at least convert back to the MCG with their sort of growing stature in the game with their form and their members. They try to hit 35,000, 40,000 every Marvel game they get. To then go to the AFL and go, look, we demand the G now because we're pulling numbers like this. We can't do that.
No.
What are we going to say? Like, we're getting 19 at Marvel, give us the G.
Yeah.
That's I mean, it is Dennis
Gold Coast,
Denudo in court.
Still.
Exactly.
It's the vibe.
You can hear cans being crushed up on level.
I mean,
4.
yeah. Like, better off saying, let's just put this game at RSCA and let us get some food trucks.
I would not mind that.
Nah.
I was thinking about it the other day.
Not against the Suns or Freo or Gold, like.
If teams play in Canberra, we can play at RSCA.
Why not? Yeah.
Definitely. I think it's time for Mosh back to your best.
Yes.
Who is it this week? We want to know.
This week, I'm just strictly because he's kicked 3 of our 7 or 8 goals. For me, it's Dan Butler.
Yeah.
I thought he set the tone of the night. Like he was a bit of a pest. We've missed that. Like he was getting under the skin of some of these players. He got a cheap goal at the start.
Yeah.
Kicked a very nice goal, a nice set shot as well. 4 tackles. I think he got 11 disposals. And I mean, he was the highest scoring player, like goal-wise, on the ground.
Yep.
So
2 goals in the first quarter.
2 goals in the first quarter and chased all day. So
yeah. And his second goal was fantastic as well. He was getting tackled, came to ground, came back up, and then got the lucky bounce.
But you got to put yourself in that spot to get that luck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was also his first full game for the season as well. I'm pretty sure because the Doggies game got subbed out, and then the West Coast game he was the sub.
Yeah, so true. So
his first full game.
And if we're going to do anything for the next month, we need our smalls in form.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He just needs to back it up now. Yeah. Is he out of contract? Is that why he had a great game?
We've got heaps of players out of contract.
Yeah, contract game.
Yeah. and just a quick one on our goal scorers as well. We had 3 goal scorers. Do you guys know who they are?
King, Butler, and
Higgins. Yeah.
Holy crap.
How many times have those 3 played together this year? Because it's not often.
From the start, that'd be the first, wouldn't it?
It's first or second. I'm just saying I think it's important
Because
for us.
Higo's been suspended, Butler's been sub or out, King's been out.
Been in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's important for us to have those 3. The fact that they were our only 3 goals.
But I will quickly mention... Oh, no, we're back to your best. Damn it, I can't bring you up now. I was going to say Membry, mate. I want Membry next week.
Geez,
I want to be...
smother.
I didn't realise he was playing until he did that.
No, I'm calling it out. Tim Membry, next week, I want you to be the nominee for Back to Your Best. Have a big game on Friday night, mate. We need you. There's no way we can beat Brisbane if Tim Membry's playing the way he's playing.
No,
he needs to kick 3 or 4 goals and be the man.
Yeah. No, I'm being tongue in cheek with the.
No, I know, because he put it in the WhatsApp group just to stir us.
Yeah, I know.
I was trying to wind you guys up.
I bit hard. I'm like, like one smother. I mean,
baited.
He's so much better than the way he's playing. But anyway, we won't get stuck on him because it's Back to Your Best. Dan Butler for me. Are you guys agreeing, or do you have someone else?
I would say Dan Butler. Yeah. Great game. Hard to fault it. Very, very hard to fault it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'd say Josh Battle, but he's been at his best all year. He's not back to his best. That's just That's just him doing his thing.
Default setting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Join over 30,000 other guys in the Mosh Hair Regrowth family and get $50 off your first treatment plan with code SAINTS50 at checkout. Completely customized, totally online, and cheap hair regrowth solutions from $45 a month. Smarter hair loss treatment all starts with a quiz at getmosh.com.au. And, of course, the famous Mosh app. We're going to be bringing it out every week.
What was the celebration you did at the game with your in the video?
It's called a Pez. It's like a dreadlocks beanie.
Yeah.
I call it the whirly bird. It's where you spin it around. It's pretty great, isn't it? It's quite embarrassing for everyone when we meet.
I actually, as a kid, sorry, this is real quick note. As a kid, I always wanted one of those things. It's like the dreadlock looking. I'm sure people can figure it out. Yeah. But I always wanted one, and I think I mentioned it to my girlfriend. So last year for Christmas, she bought me one, and she keeps telling me that at one game this year or just ever, I need to wear it. So maybe that needs to be a bet on the podcast or something when I wear the dreadlocks at a game.
Yeah, if we get a big win, we can all wear one.
At the Gabba.
Maybe at the Gabba.
At the Gabba trial. Mate.
Not this week. We'll find a week for it. But I think it is time for some Jakey's Junk Mail.
Yes, let's get into it.
Jakey's Junk Mail. Jakey's Junk Mail. Jakey's Junk Mail. Jakey's Junk Mail.
All right, Jakey's Junk Mail. Let's get stuck into it.
He's such a pro. He just keeps doing the intro for me. This one's from Ryan. So this is actually an email junk mail, which is great. Nice and long. Hey, legends. One for Jake's junk mail. It's so great to have the potty back. It's certainly been tough dealing with the first half of the season, not having the podcast there to help deal with this roller coaster of a season. Is it any coincidence that we start winning now that the podcast is back? Just wanted to give you all a pump up for getting the podcast back up and running. I look forward to it every Tuesday morning. Keep up the great work. I mean, that's true. We brought it back and we've won every game.
Yeah,
no actually, such thing as a coincidence.
I meant to send that into the group this morning because I did notice we haven't recorded a podcast like after a loss besides the first one, but like, after each of them we've won.
Yeah,
we're only on episode 3, so let's keep that rolling.
Yeah.
So you're saying we could be top 4 if we started this earlier?
Unfortunately, yeah.
That's
You
disappointing.
should be.
This one's quite long, but I'll try and summarize it. This is from Maddie. I think this is a really good one. She said, "Are you as annoyed as me about the narrative around us being dour and boring?
Yes.
From watching the game, you could tell we were trying to take it on, counterattack with speed and go forward. It was just the decision and skills going inside 50 that was comical at times. I'd be happy to cop the criticism that is warranted, but people have their Ross line is a boring lockdown coach coloured glasses on whilst watching us."
Yep.
I kind of agree. In a
I
way.
wholeheartedly agree.
Like,
defensive game plans are boring.
Yeah.
No one plays like that nowadays. It doesn't win premierships. I think it needs to change. It's hard to watch. Defensive teams are very, very hard to watch.
Is there one in the competition outside of...
GWS have gone very defensive over the last
That's
4 weeks, and they're losing games.
with the amount of attacking power they have?
It's very strange, but I've watched their games and they've turned very, very defensive. They can't score.
That's unreal.
So the question is, are we frustrated with the narrative?
Yeah.
That it's not
I
true?
mean, to be honest, I used to be, but now it's just no point.
Yeah.
Like, just win games.
I think this is just like, this question feels like very specific to this game, and I already was reading out those stats earlier.
Yeah, you spotted it.
To say that that's just
it was
not
a
the case
dominant
at all.
performance outside of
Yeah.
the scoreboard.
Also, Kane Cons, hate to bring him up again, but he bloody does my head in.
Yeah.
On his show The Round so far, he was trying to talk about how our brand is so unsustainable, and talked about how we took 137 marks, but he was talking about the wrong team. We took 86 marks. Gold Coast took 137.
Kane, mate,
so
get on the potty.
Yeah.
All right? I've called
get
you
on the
out.
potty and also get your stats right.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
This one's from Julian. What are your boys' predictions for our Saners for next year? So jumping the gun here. I think we'll bounce back. I think we'll bounce back with a bit of momentum.
Yeah,
This season's not done. This season's not done, but year 3 is a big year for Ross. First year kind of implanted his DNA on the squad and the way we want to play. Second year, probably not gone to plan, but maybe this is what should have happened last year. And then year 3, I think it's finals. Like, no question. Win a final, get to the second or third week. Am I being a bit ambitious? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you got to be.
Well, yeah, it's the hope that kills you, right?
I'm dead already.
I would say Melbourne made finals in 2018, finished second last in 2019, and 2 years later they won the flag. Not going to say that's us, but it's like things can turn
So
around
what you're
quickly.
saying we're following the Melbourne formula.
Well, if it means we win a flag, I don't care.
Yeah, things can turn around, but let's say
Yeah.
worst case scenario, we finish again in the bottom 6. What happens then? Does Ross Lyon get extended? Does he get
I don't
axed?
think he
he's not,
gets
but
extended,
He'll
no.
continue to see out his contract, and like this year we could finish last, and it's not going to change the club's perspective on Ross. I don't think.
Yeah.
It's
No,
got to
it
be
won't.
year 3 or 4.
But I still think strategy needs to change. There's some
Offensively,
if we
offensively,
finish,
yes.
Yeah, if we finish bottom 6 next year, but we're averaging 2 or 3 goals more a game, and we're kicking higher scores, I think that's a different argument. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, if you put it like that, then
Yeah,
yes.
if we're playing Dow football,
Because that's an
if it's
improvement.
exact same as
Yeah.
this year, I will say there's a big problem. But if we start kicking more goals and playing more attacking, attractive football, say Hawthorn, but finish bottom 6, I think there's still something there that we can take away.
Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
wrong. And it's hard to tell how the teams are going to track next year as
Exactly.
well. So you can't really predict who
No.
is and isn't going to play finals.
No, like this year, I wouldn't have predicted Adelaide to be where they are and lose to Richmond at
No,
home.
or Melbourne to be 11th currently. So
Yeah.
Obviously.
So, plenty of teams dropping off. This one's from just Sammy. Hi, Jake. Big fan. I know we've only won a few games, but the lid's off, right?
Just Sammy, who's
Sa-
that?
I
Sammy-
reckon,
It's
I reckon
familiar.
he's pretty
Sammy's.
spot on.
I love he's got, but the lid's off, right? Right, guys? The lid's off,
I
isn't
think
it?
he just wants to be sure, but I agree with him. He sounds like a really cool guy.
You reckon?
You did
He
just say the
sounds-
lids are still on earlier in this
I
episode,
know,
though,
you-
so
No,
it can't be you.
I said the lid's like slightly peeled in the left
I don't
hand
get-
It's a jar.
What's this? I don't understand the display picture too. Is
So
that-
my display profile on Instagram for people listening at home is Chicken Joe on a surfboard from Surf's Up.
Right.
Because that's me in cartoon form.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never seen that movie.
Great movie. Watch it and then you'll understand.
Chicken Joe is
Okay.
your spirit animal.
This one's from Simon. Do we need to target another key forward on top of an A-grade mid? Need less reliance on King? I mean, if there's
Yes.
one going around, sure. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head that's
Yeah.
available. Rory Lopp.
No, yuck.
He can stick to TikToks.
Yuck.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to know that club.
Absolutely not. But I agree because it'd be ideally I would want someone to play centre half forward, and then Max King playing key forward or alternating between the two, like Mackay and Curnow.
Yeah.
It works well. You need 2 up there, and love Caminiti, but I don't think he cuts it for the moment.
We need someone as mobile as King, which is
Yeah,
hard
not
to
easy
find.
to find
Yeah.
because his mobility is why he was a top 4 draft pick.
Well, there is another King in the AFL.
He's not leaving.
You
Not
don't
yet.
reckon?
Oh, they always
Not
say
soon.
that.
Not
and then they
anytime
leave.
soon.
I love that he looks like the evil version of Max. Though.
Yeah,
Did you
with
see
the-
that photo
with
where
the
they're
facial
shaking
hair.
hands? It's like nah, that's an obscure reference. I'm just gonna hold myself there.
Hold fire.
Sometimes a filter's good, you know. This one's from Julia, who writes in all the time. So thanks, Julia. Hi, Jake. Hope you're well. I have a question for the podcast tonight. My question is, I'm wishing to become a water girl for the AFL, and I don't know how to get into that. And I was wondering if you boys knew. I mean, AFLW might be a good avenue.
AFLW is a good avenue. Start with community football.
Local football, yeah.
That's how umpires, everyone else does it, because technically you're part of the, officials at that point. So start at community level and work your way up.
Yeah.
That would be my suggestion.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
call.
I've got no idea.
You
Listen
got
to
to start somewhere. So
Yeah.
some local football, and who knows where that'll take you.
Yeah.
This one's from Milky Face. Milky Face here.
Who?
Obviously, you've got your username there, but thank you for doubling down on the Milky. How worried are we with Membry's form? I was trying to say that without laughing. Membry's form, I think we kind of already alluded to the fact that I knew we'd answered that question, but I just didn't want to leave
Yeah.
Milky Face hanging.
Needs to change his handle. Anyway, getting back to Milky Face's
man.
question. It's just a confidence thing.
Yeah.
And that applies to really 90% of our team at the moment. Every time Naz misses a kick or a set shot, it is a confidence thing. Same with memory.
Yeah.
It's just there's a lack of confidence amongst a lot of players in
Yeah.
our team
Yeah.
at the moment, which is why getting wins is so important.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just want to say, like, he had a pretty bad game. Didn't influence the contest much.
But the smother.
The smother was great. The smother was great. But like again, a part of it is for him to blame. Same with King. Same with Caminiti. But it's hard to like kind of grill those guys when the forward entry is just so bad. You know.
No, but see, the thing is, I watch King and I see him leading and going, and the kicks are not going to him. But I don't see Membry trying to implant himself in the game as much.
No.
King is actually trying to get to a contest, like even when did he take on Mac Andrew just randomly and he tried to get past him?
Yeah, I think so.
He got the
Yes,
hand.
yeah, he
I
did
love that he's
actually.
trying to do that. He's backing
Yeah.
himself a little bit. There's a bit of energy, a bit of swagger about him. He's saying, "I'm better than you. Catch me if you can." I like that about Kingy. We want that arrogance back. I don't see Skunk doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just trying to make something happen. He's just kind of going through the motions a little bit.
Yeah. No, he's got a lot to work on. But I
Yeah.
still back him, Ross.
Absolutely.
Keep him in the team, please.
I want him to see him against a very tough Brisbane backline.
Yeah.
He needs to stand up.
Yeah.
Bailey says Hunter Clark would have won a Brownlow by now if he didn't get injured so much. I mean, hard to tell what trajectory Hunter Clark would be at right now if he never had an injury.
You've got no idea, do you?
Yeah. He's had some
It is
seriously
hard to
bad
tell.
luck.
But to be
Seriously
fair,
bad luck.
Pendlebury is what they liken him to, and Pendles has never won a Brownlow. So
But you don't need to win a Brownlow to be a great player.
no, you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
We've seen
And
many.
what does it mean at the end of the day? Because there are plenty of players that remembered without winning Brownlows. So I think,
Or premierships.
it's just you're the best midfielder award. Yeah.
That is true.
triggered.
Shout out Lenny Hayes.
Hit us
Shout
where
out
it
Nick
hurts.
Rewalt.
Robert
Jeez.
Harvey. Sorry,
Robert
guys.
Harvey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many more can we name? No.
I was going to say, should we keep going?
This one's from Lydia. I'm thinking of setting up a GoFundMe page to pay Battle whatever it takes to keep him.
Can I see that name?
Hey, there we go.
Oh, yeah, that's my sister.
There you go.
I told Jake on the way in, I said, I think my sister wants to send something in about Josh Battle. Can you read it when she does?
Well, we need the
There
link.
you go.
We'll need the link provided for the GoFundMe,
yeah.
and then
But yeah, let's definitely, if we can add an extra 100K to his salary, if that keeps him at the club, then yeah, let's set it up.
yeah, it's worth it in the end. Good call. And lastly, James says, "Do you think we will win 3 more games this year, and why?" I mean,
Yes.
absolutely, we will.
Definitely.
I think we play Richmond again.
Hold
We've
that
got a
thought,
whole bunch of, yeah, true.
because they're getting all their players back now.
Yeah.
Do we play
So,
Hawthorn again?
No.
No.
We play Gold Coast again at Carrara.
Yeah.
West
We
Coast
play
again.
Adelaide.
Oh, West Coast again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we play Adelaide twice or once?
Just at
Once.
Adelaide Oval, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And we play
We
Geelong
play
again.
Port in Melbourne,
in
I
Marvel.
think. Yeah, we've got a lot of games at Marvel.
Yeah.
I think
so-
our toughest games coming up are Carlton and
Brisbane.
Sydney. Brisbane was definitely tough, but I just think,
Yeah.
realistically, they're 13th, 12th or something. So I think Carlton and Sydney, they're first and second right now. That's going to be bloody tough, both those games.
Yeah,
But
I think,
absolutely we can win 3, yeah.
Oh, and Essendon at Marvel.
Yep. We
yeah,
do have
true.
Essendon coming up.
So there's plenty of winnable games there if our form switches around, and I dare say if we put in a good show on Friday night, we'll actually start probably believing again,
Oh, definitely.
wouldn't we?
I got to say, I think I was on the ladder predictor last night. I don't know if I'm believing, but the thoughts are starting to creep in for sure.
We're not finishing top. You didn't have us finishing
Just
top
think
4,
of the
did
wiggle
you?
room.
Yeah,
The wiggle room.
I did. Yeah, there's a lot of wiggle room. I noticed. I mean, realistically though, you can wear it. I think we could lose 3 more games and still make it.
Yeah, I think 10 or 11 losses for the year,
Yeah.
you could sneak in if your percentage is
Just because it's
good
very
enough.
tight.
So I
right
think
now,
you'll need,
yeah.
if my math serves me correctly, you'll need about 12.3 wins.
Yes.
Around,
So let's say
yeah.
13 wins to make the 8.
Yeah. That means if it's 13, that means we can only lose 2 more games.
That's what I catered for in my prediction.
Yeah.
But
last
then
week.
again, you don't know how things are going to go
Yeah.
because
No,
teams
there
are
could be some
dropping
more
games
draws.
who shouldn't be dropping
Yeah,
games.
correct.
So
Yeah. You just got to go the old cliche, 1 week at a time.
Yeah.
And just see what happens. Yeah.
But if we win this week, it
Oh,
would
man.
be astounding.
We're going to be riled up next week on the podcast. Me and Jake are both actually going to Brisbane. I told him I don't think I'm going to come back from Brisbane if we win.
Nah, could you
I'll-
imagine?
I'll just stay at the ground.
I'm going to the Gold Coast with Jaden afterwards.
4-day
we-
bender.
If we get up, we're
Mate.
going to delay the potty.
we might need to.
But yeah, there you go. That's
Yeah.
Jake's junk mail for another week. Thanks everyone for sending in your submissions. Very nice work.
Absolutely. Let's get into the game that we just alluded to. Big one at the Gabba. I can't wait to get down. I haven't
Friday
been to
night.
an interstate game for like 4 years. But yeah, there's a lot to be talked about with selection.
Yeah.
Dougal Howard's obviously out. I think Cordy's going to come in. Obviously, straight swap there. Friday night, yeah, the lights are going to be shining bright on us, which we have pretty much never handled well for the last 10 years, it feels like.
Yeah.
When was the last time we won a Friday night game against a solid opposition? It feels like maybe GWS in like 2017 or whenever that was.
Did we
20
play Collingwood on a Friday this year, or was
No,
that
that was
That was
Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah.
Giants
Same
a few
time,
years
yeah.
ago, 2021 or 2, when Jack Hayes went off.
When Jack Hayes went off. Yes.
Oh,
I
yeah,
know,
yeah,
you're right.
We won
Yeah,
that.
That's true.
That was Friday night. So
Yeah.
it's a huge game. And of course Brisbane play the way they did against the Dogs.
Yeah, they
showed
start finding form as soon
They
as
showed
we...
they showed their 2023 form. Their midfield was elite. Hipwood was outrageously good.
Yeah.
And he's going to pose a massive problem without Dukes there with that height, and then obviously Danaher. We're gonna have to. Are we gonna have to revert to trying to make it an ugly Dower game again? Because we can't win a shootout against Brisbane.
No, it's just not going to happen.
Nah.
You just have to nullify their goal scoring in their midfield.
So it's
Have to go defensive for that because the reality is we can't score. We won't outscore them.
They know though.
If we try a shootout,
yeah.
we'll lose by 70, 80 points. Realistically,
Yeah.
I think.
I honestly say play the same way. Just do anything you can to clean up the forward entries. If we play that same way and can just convert a few of those opportunities, I think we're in with a big chance.
Yeah, so Windy tags Neil, head-to-head everywhere else. Harris Andrews on King is always a good watch.
Yep.
And King always seems to rise a little bit against Harris Andrews,
Yeah.
I've found. He always seems to have a decent game against Brizzy. Although last year he didn't play the final game, I think, because we rested him before the finals. For
Only
memory.
lost by 10.
And we lost by 10.
Yeah.
That was a close game. That's when
Yep.
Jack Hayes returned and kicked a goal.
Yeah.
Good game.
And we were playing for nothing, and they were playing for top 4 as
Yeah.
well that
Yeah.
game. So, yeah.
Danaher missed one from the top of the goal square. Classic.
True.
What's the biggest matchup of the game?
I think what you just said, King
You
on
think it's
King on
King on
Andrews.
Har- yeah.
Yeah.
So if King gets hold of Harris Andrews,
Oh, that'd go a long way
they
to
go a
us
long way.
winning. That would go a long way to us winning.
I
for
think
sure.
it starts in the middle.
No.
Every time Neil has had a poor game and less than 20 or around 20 disposals this year, Brisbane have been hot garbage. If he gets nullified, they just aren't the same team.
Yeah.
It all starts
He's
with
the
him.
barometer, isn't
Starts and ends with him.
Yeah.
So if Windy can stamp him out of the game from Siren,
he's done it before.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
Then-
true.
He did it.
I remember
years
a
ago.
few,
Kept him to what?
2022.
He kept him to like under 10 or
Yeah.
something.
And he got the Rising Star nomination that game.
Because he had
I'm
about
pretty
20
sure.
that day, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went
No, he had
nuts.
a day out. Let's talk about selection though.
Yeah.
Because I went through my spreadsheet last night. No bit of nerd, but I said in Cordy for Howard.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's obvious. I think Crouch comes in for Ross.
Mm-hmm.
I think Crouch goes straight into the team, which leaves that sub vacancy. And then I'm taking Bonner out of the side, and I'm putting Garcia as the sub.
Don't mind that.
Garcia, just by the way, 15 touches, 3 goals, and 7 tackles in the VFL.
Yeah, there's a few options from the VFL, like Sharman was good.
Yep. 3
Crouch
goals,
again.
18 touches.
Even Filippo had 20 and 8 tackles.
Yep.
Which was really good. So even him as a sub could be
Burns,
interesting.
22 and a goal.
Burns.
Campbell, I mean, I know he's not going to come in, but 29 touches and 31 hitouts.
Pollard kicked 3-1.
2.
2-1.
Patton, 24 touches. Jones, 29 touches.
I don't think Jones,
Yeah.
no matter what he does,
No,
will come in.
I agree, but it's worth mentioning. Yeah.
I don't mind that.
Crouch.
I still think Bonner's playing though.
No,
matter what
I
we say,
agree.
I really don't
This
think
is not
that's-
what I think will happen. This is just what I want.
Yeah.
Which is Crouch, Cordy, Garcia in, Ross, Howard, Bonner out. Yeah. What do you think, Sammy?
He won't change a winning team.
Yeah.
He will bring in Cordy
Yeah.
for Howard.
Yeah.
And Crouch.
Maybe Crouch. Did he like spit in Ross's coffee or something? What's up with that?
If he doesn't come in this week against Brisbane,
He has to. High disposal team. Love collecting the footy. We need someone to match it, and he can.
Also, Seb Ross is clearly on the way out. He was the sub this week. And, I mean, I know he played
when
back
I saw that, I thought, why didn't you just bring Crouch in?
Exactly. Me
What's
too.
the point?
Yeah. It's bizarre. I'm not sure what's going on with that dynamic Crouch Ross.
But you would think that's a
line, but-
hint. That's a hint to what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Or is it they were just saving Crouch for this game and making sure he's all right in the lead up? That could be a potential as
Maybe.
well.
I mean, Ross said in a press conference 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think 2 weeks after he had 2 back-to-back 30-touch games in the VFL, and a journo said, so Crouch is coming in. He goes, no, we'll have 1 more week, which was last week. He got another 30, but he also mentioned, we're looking more at Gold Coast, Brisbane range to bring him back.
Yeah, and you
So,
think about it, like bring
he's
him in
front of
this
mind.
week, go full throttle in this one, and then you've got the bye.
Yeah.
So then he gets another break.
Yeah.
So he can go full throttle in this one, as opposed to bringing him this week. Imagine Crouch coming back in the game that just happened, the slog, and then having to face Brisbane off a short turnaround.
I'd be sore.
He'd be sore.
sore.
So
break.
when you think about it, travel, when you put all the elements together, you're like, nah, you pick Brizzy on a Friday night and then you get the week off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think maybe we've done the right thing in hindsight.
Potentially.
If he comes in and
As
looks
long as he
like
comes in,
Crouch that
yeah.
we know and can play a good game, then you trust the Docs and Ross.
Yeah. Something that I love Crouch has put into his game lately is that he kicks goals as well. It feels like we don't have a lot of in the midfield, and we're going to have to kick a score against Brisbane because as good defensively as we are, their offense is just as good.
Well, we're not keeping them to 7 goals.
No.
Like,
No
we're
way.
not. They're going to kick 10 to 15. We're going to have to try and keep it to that. I feel like the sweet spot is 9 to 12 goals, but even that's going to be difficult.
How much do we need to kick to beat them?
I think we need to somehow get in the 70s to 80s.
Yeah, I'd say
I really
85
think
to
that.
90
Yeah.
plus.
Yeah.
I say 70 plus. Anything above 70, we can keep them
12
below.
to 15 goals, and we're in it.
And we need midfielders to convert.
Right.
Because our midfielders do not kick enough goals.
That's why I'm
They are
saying
not
Crouch, I think
handy
it's a
enough in the
perfect
footy.
week.
No, like
Yeah.
we beat them. Remember a couple of years ago, it was moved to Metricon, and we beat them. And I think Steele kicked a nice left foot snap, drop punt. Like, we need a couple of goals from Steely.
Yeah.
We need something
Yeah.
from. If Bonner's playing, I want to see a hands on the 50 and going for it.
Yeah.
He did that in the Pracky games. I haven't seen that happen that often.
What? Yeah.
You know, like
Well, this is what you need from your gut runners. It's not like, let's just do it this week. Let's do it every week. They
Yeah.
need to start converting. They need to start kicking goals. Look at Sydney.
Yeah.
You've got Warner, Heaney, Goulden, who are each kicking 2-3 goals a game. That's how it should be. That should be the normality. It's not asking too much. Jack Steele should be backing himself in 45 metres out.
Yeah.
It's because they probably play like Sydney play with it's a full ground domination mentality, whereas for us it's the backs do their bit, done. Midfield, do your bit, set up the forwards. Forwards kick the goals. It's too split up. Sydney, it's just a full ground mentality of like, if you're within 50 and you got a chance, you take it. If you're a mid, back, whatever. It's anyone can score. Makes it so hard to stop. For us, it seems like we're very structure based. I mean, why are we so surprised? We've said it from the start. Ross has said it. The players have said it. We back our structure. That's what a structure is. We know our positions, and we're not going to deviate from it too much. As frustrating as that is.
Yeah. No.
But maybe watch this week.
I agree.
Watch us be ultra attacking this week. because we're the underdogs, we're away from home, and we know we need to score. Watch the approach.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if we play a ultra defensive game, to be honest.
Yeah. Do you think if we do play that ultra attacking game that we're going to be sacrificing some of our defense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you happy to live with that?
If it means we're going there to try and shake things up and win the game, I'm for it.
Yeah.
Because long term, I mean, what do we want us to play?
Attacking football.
Yeah, and
you
if
have
that
to
means
roll
we
the
get
dice.
done this week, so be it. But if long term that's the vision and that's the way Ross really wants us to play,
Yeah.
then I'll live with it. I'll take it.
I just feel like this week we were so close to the perfect game of footy, which I know sounds bizarre considering how ugly it was. But seriously, if you just clean up a few of those forward entries and convert a few opportunities, we're sitting here thinking, gee, we're pretty close to having it figured out.
It would have been, if we had have taken the chances we got handed to us on the weekend, it would have been a 80 to 50 scoreline,
Yeah.
and we would have been 5-goal winners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't be talking about, oh, do we need to be less defensive? Do we need to
No,
be
but I
more
think we'll up
attacking?
the ante this week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I
I
agree.
agree.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things you want to play to your strength, which is, I think our strength is our defense. Why I always back that in. I know it's not the funnest thing to watch, but I think you need to stick to your strength and just hope that we can develop that offensive game around it.
But
Yeah.
is it more a strength or just what they know? Because I think it's just
a
what they
strength.
know.
I think it's a strength though, because it's how we made finals last year. Our offense was never going to make a final series last year.
No.
So, yeah, it just depends how you see it though.
Bring it home, boys. It's a big game. 7:40.
Absolutely.
We're going to be there.
Yep.
Were
Can't
you,
wait.
What's your normal away setup?
Oh, on the couch, in bed,
Throwing shit at the TV. No.
in the car, outside the pub, so I don't have to see other people. Depends how we play. Hinges on where I'll be.
Yeah.
So
For sure. I can't wait to get
Nah,
down.
I'm pumped.
Let's
Friday.
any of the Saints that do get down, we know we have a
Yeah,
big fan base out there, so let's make some
Do
noise.
a pre-game thing.
Oh, yeah.
Find a spot. Maybe I'll
Yep.
put it up on the channel and we can all meet up.
For
That'd
sure.
be good fun.
So keen.
And if we get the chocolates,
Beers on you?
will probably be the biggest, definitely be the biggest away win that I would have seen in my life if we
Yeah.
get the chocolates.
Same.
Yeah.
Let's get it done.
Let's go, Sainers.
Up the Sainers. See you next week,
Saints.
guys.
See you guys.